Throughout modern history, independent inventors have proposed alternative approaches to energy generation. Some ideas have become established technologies, while others have remained controversial or largely outside mainstream scientific acceptance. Among these lesser-known concepts is a project associated with Wilhelm Reich, a researcher whose work extended across psychology, biology, and experimental theories involving what he described as orgone energy. The product examined in this video is not a finished. Instead, it is presented as a digital instructional package that documents a design referred to as the Orgone Energy Motor. Rather than offering manufactured equipment, the package provides blueprints and assembly instructions intended for individuals interested in constructing the proposed device themselves. This review focuses only on the structure of the product and how it is organized. The Orgone Energy Motor is presented as a downloadable collection of instructional materials. Its primary components include digital blueprints, written documentation, parts list, and step-by-step assembly guidance. The package is designed as a do-it-yourself project rather than a commercial appliance. According to its structure, users begin by downloading the materials after purchase. The documentation explains the proposed layout of the device, identifies the required components, and organizes the assembly process into sequential stages. Additional digital resources accompany the main guide, including supplementary documents and reference material intended to support the construction process. The product itself is informational rather than physical. No completed hardware is shipped to the customer. The intended workflow follows a straightforward sequence. First, the user accesses the digital files through the online delivery platform. Next, the documentation is reviewed to understand the proposed design and the components required. The materials list outlines commonly available parts that users are expected to source independently. Construction then proceeds through the illustrated instructions contained within the guide. The project requires manual assembly using basic tools and physical components. Once assembled, the documentation describes procedures for completing the installation and evaluating the finished build. Because the product is delivered entirely in digital form, the experience depends largely on the user's willingness to study the instructions and complete the project independently. Unlike consumer electronics, the package functions as a technical guide rather than a ready-to-use device. Structurally, the product appears designed for individuals who enjoy do-it-yourself technical projects. Its format may also appeal to readers interested in historical inventions, experimental engineering concepts, or alternative energy literature. The guide assumes an active level of participation. Users are expected to obtain materials, follow construction steps, and perform the assembly process themselves. Someone looking for a finished consumer product would encounter a very different experience than someone interested in educational documentation or hands-on experimentation. Because the product centers on documentation rather than hardware, its primary value lies in the instructional process it presents. Compared with commercially available energy products, the Orgone Energy Motor occupies a different category. Traditional energy systems are typically sold as manufactured equipment that has undergone standardized production and testing. This product instead resembles a digital blueprint collection intended for independent construction. It shares structural similarities with woodworking plans, electronics hobby manuals, and maker-oriented project guides, where the purchaser receives knowledge and instructions rather than a completed object. Its organization emphasizes documentation, diagrams, and assembly procedures instead of factory-built components. From a product perspective, it can be understood as an instructional resource centered around a historical concept rather than a conventional consumer appliance. As with any technical documentation involving experimental or unconventional concepts, readers may wish to independently evaluate the historical background, engineering principles, safety considerations, and scientific evidence before beginning any practical project. For viewers interested in examining how the instructional package is organized, a reference to the product discussed in this video is available through the link provided in the video description.